Hey guys, we wanted to bring you along for our October garden tour, and it's in Texas, so it's 94 degrees. Our okra is not wanting to die. It is becoming so prolific, and it kind of breaks my heart because we need to take it out. We need to do something to these front beds to get it ready to sell this house.
You and I till the end, don't need to pretend again and again. We'll stick together, everything is alright with you by my side. We won't say goodbye, we'll stick together. I can pick you up when you're heading down. When it all just sucks, I'll be your
So this right here is a hexagon box that Sid made for me, and we did a video about that, so I'll put a card above about that. I ran out of space in the spring with all the flowers and just went ahead and put most of my medicinal flowers in here. Here in the middle, the last time I did a garden update, when I talked about the St. John's wort, I was worried that it wasn't looking very nice. And somebody commented about just watering it more, which I have been doing, and it's just really been loving that. So the St. John's wort is just really happy. It's really pretty. I anticipate it's going to get bigger with some big, pretty yellow flowers on it. So I look forward to that. I hope we're still here to see it. I've been very happy with my yarrow. This cerise queen yarrow, it's beautiful. I keep forgetting to cut it just for a cut flower to bring inside the house. I did make a tincture out of this. I did my first batch. It's ready for me to actually put into the bottles. So I'm gonna see how it is and how it tastes. If it's something you're interested in learning about and kind of seeing my process, comment down below. Just # yarrow, and I will maybe show you guys how I did that. We keep talking about moving and selling this house. I think one of our first projects that we're gonna do is the front beds of our house. It's not appealing. Nobody would know that we have the beautiful garden we do in the back, seeing the front of our house. We are about to change the stones, just make this look a lot more appealing to a potential buyer at a low cost budget. So we'll have that video here in a few weeks and just kind of show you guys what we did just to kind of spruce it up to sell this house.
All right, so we're at the first archway of our urban backyard garden, and right now we have our zucchino rapicante, and this about last week or a few weeks ago wasn't this big, and I was able to go through here without hitting my head on here, but lately, as you can see, it's just basically in the way when we're walking and going throughout this area. So we're going to harvest this one and this one. We're also going to try to harvest some of these green beans that's starting to come off now because of the cooler weather that we're having. But we're definitely liking this. We don't know how this is going to taste. The reason why we started to grow this because Season Dream was growing this last year, and we saw how prolific it was for her garden since she's in the same growing zone. Matter of fact, about 10-15 minutes away from us. We decided to grow it this year from Baker's Creek. So let's show you how we harvest that.
One of the most exciting things that I grew this past year was our loofah. Mr. Nikki Garden, he made a mistake. He was like, I'm gonna let you go ahead and have this section and have an experiment. And do you see how, like, my experiment has taken over 2 trellises, and I feel like every day I'm finding a new loofah. What's exciting about this is just yesterday we went to a little Hispanic cantina meat shop place, and we came across and they had some loofahs in there, and they were like $2.98. They were charging $2.98 for one loofah. And so I was like, oh wow, like that's exciting. I feel like, this is going to be a pretty good deal for us. I plan on using them for like soap savers and scrubbers and just exfoliation, stuff like that. But the funnest thing for me about this loofah is every time I've introduced like a family member or a friend to this, they all have been surprised that it wasn't something that came from the sea. Like, they're surprised it's something that you can just grow in your backyard.
All right, so here we have our container garden for our peppers. Now, recently we just did a drip system for each one of these to kind of limit our watering down, where we have to do a lot of hand watering. And what's been very prolific from what we had last year was the purple beauties. And here they just get so purple. We wish they would get a little bit bigger. I think next year, once we get our own property, or well, bigger property, we're gonna try to incorporate a lot of azomite along with more compost in our containers. Maybe that might do the trick. This year also is our first year growing. These are the bullnose. I think these are the bullnose.
Mm-hmm.
And these are a lot bigger than what we normally peppers that we've been getting. Once again, I think if we add a little bit more azomite and more fertilization for these peppers, they will get a lot bigger. Over here, these, we think it might be either a serrano pepper or a jalapeno pepper.
It's a serrano.
She thinks this is serrano.
There's just the shape is different.
Let's see.
And the spice to it is like a serrano.
I don't know. It might be a mild. Ooh.
No, it's a serrano.
Yeah, it might be a serrano. Might be a serrano. But so now that the temperature is not as hot, these peppers in our garden has been going a lot better. Even these are called, what do you call these? The pasta.
Oh, those are paradisium alkali.
Paradisium alkali. These change color to a yellow reddish type color.
It's to a yellow.
And these have gotten a lot. Oh crap! I barely even touched that.
It's okay. It'll turn.
Yeah. So these have been getting good. These is our first year doing these sweet chocolate peppers.
And those turn brown.
Those turn to a nice chocolatey color. I accidentally, when we were moving these, topped these off. So now they're going to start branching off and getting a little bit bushier. Let's go take a look over these purple beauties here. These have just been amazing with the colorness of these.
They look really pretty in a salad.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to do, we just saw Jess do a freeze-dried rendition of her peppers. Maybe we can even incorporate that, since Mrs. Nikki Garden bought a dehydrator.
Well, dehydration and freeze drying are two different
Well,
pieces of equipment, but you can invest in that for me. That would be awesome.
Anyway, so we're going to try to do some dehydration of these peppers, since we have a lot of peppers. Mrs. Nikki Gardner, we just harvested the okra. We just did a video on that where we just showed you how the root ball of that container is. Mrs. Nikki Gardner is going to do a nice fried okra.
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah, and I'm going to try my hand in some, I think it's called spatchcock chicken, or however you call it, where you just basically break the chicken breast bone on a cast iron skillet and just fry it for the first few minutes and stuff on both sides and put it in the oven. So that will be good on that. Let's take a look at the other peppers on the other end here. All right, so over here we did these were our shishito peppers. These last year and this year have been so amazing. We just haven't figured out a right flavor, taste buds for those. Here we have our Jimmy Nardellos. These, let's see if they have a spice. My tongue is still kind of burning from.
It's more of a sweet.
It's more of a mild. It has a better flavor than a shishito. So we're gonna, ooh, a little bit may heat. So we're gonna try some of these in our dishes tonight. And then, ooh, there goes a nice good size one.
Those cubanellis have been really prolific
Yeah.
too.
These cubanellis, I think they could be a little bit bigger.
Some of them have been really big
Yeah.
throughout the season.
Our second wave of cubanellis were a lot bigger, and we showed them on Instagram. So if y'all not following us on Instagram, we'll put the descriptions down below in the show notes to show you. We do more updates on the Instagram than anything on YouTube. But these, we've been getting some of these almost about 4 to 6 inches long.
Yeah, we fermented and pickled quite a few of those.
Mm-hmm. Over here we have our poblanos. These have a nice heat to them. Some of these aren't ready. We're going to let them keep on going. We're going to probably harvest these at the last 2 weeks before our first frost. Here, last year we didn't grow any jalapeno peppers, and now we got 2 sets of jalapeno peppers, and we did a few of these jalapenos in our what was that salsa verde I made?
Yeah, you just did a salsa verde.
And I roasted some of these and put them in their salsa verde, and they got a nice little heat to it. Once again, we got some more Jimmy Nardellos right here. Now these Bishop Crowns, you had a former co-worker give you some of these, right?
Yes, her dad is an avid gardener. He was a POW in the Vietnam War on the Vietnam side, and he gave me some to harvest seeds, and that's where that came from.
So these are the seeds that he gave us, and they are, now that we're getting to the fall season, and with Texas we don't have a really cold frost season, but they are starting to come to life here.
As soon as it got past triple digits and fell below that, that started to pop off.
Yeah, and so we're really going to be excited about that. I'm not going to try this one on camera because I feel like that one's going to burn.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yep. Let's take a look at these eggplants. All right, so here we have an eggplant, and I believe it came off of one of the other beds. I accidentally knocked it over and it broke it off. So I was like, well, since it's still young and new, let me just stick it into some old potty mix that we had in a container. And as you can see, now it's starting to get out many buds. Wasn't expecting it to do anything because we were having some triple digit weather still, and so a lot of the blossoms was dropping, and so I decided to do a intermittent planting of this Thai soy bok choy or something like that. So once this is finally done, which now that we're starting to get even eggplants on here because the season and the weather is getting cooler. So now we have 2 plants that's growing in one container, and which I like, and I'm not sure when to tell when eggplant is.
That's the Antigua.
Yeah, this is the
eggplant.
Antigua from Baker's Creek. Well, most of all of our plants out here is from Baker's Creek, but I am interested in seeing how this tastes, especially in a salad or maybe even a stir fry, along with the eggplants.
One of my most favorite exotic trees that I did this season was the Dwarf Moringa. Now, I say that with a little laugh because dwarf, you would think dwarf, like as far as humans go, is like 4'2" and below. I'm 5'2", and this is my Dwarf Moringa. Like, look at how tall this thing is. I can only imagine how a regular moringa tree would be. I was expecting it to be a lot smaller, and I'm hoping that it will be able to go with us. I plan on cutting this off probably a little bit before our first frost and overwintering it and bringing it in. And I've been watching a lot of things about actually doing that, and it's actually a good thing for the plants to make it more prolific and less spread apart from one branch to the other, because I feel like maybe it's a little spindly. I saw some other pictures that gave me confidence that ours actually looks really healthy. As we talked about before in our last garden tour, our sugar cane. Now this is our first season growing it. I just saw on Grow Family Network where they went ahead and cut into theirs and tasted it. They did say that theirs they had pulled out like a month prior and it was a little sour. We are curious when to know the best time, especially in our growing zone in 8A, when to go ahead and harvest. So if you could comment down below, give us some advice. It's our first season. It's something that is beautiful. I foresee wanting to just see this just for the aesthetic appeal to it in our forever home when we go there. But I definitely am very interested in learning more about this. We have this as a companion plant along with our sweet potatoes. We have some regular sweet potatoes, and then Esseance Family Garden sent us some Asian sweet potatoes. So we have two different versions, and it just looks beautiful all together. Like I am really, this was an experiment, but it's definitely one I see us putting together in the future. Recently, we got our first flower blooms on our sweet potatoes, which when I read up on it, it's pretty rare apparently. We've never had them before, and they're just beautiful. So it was really nice to see the flowers coming up out of the sweet potatoes.
Now these were all three. You got the two sweet potatoes and the sugar cane and
Oh, there's
20
some horseradish also.
in that 20-gallon fabric container with some horseradish.
Yeah, those are three different 20-gallon containers, and it just, I don't know, to me it looks really pretty together. My most prized possession this year is my curry tree. This has been something that I knew as soon as I started really getting into growing things. I knew I wanted to grow this, and we're coming to that part of the season where I need to cut this down and I need to harvest these leaves, and I need to make my own powder. I really am into making curried lamb, curried goat, curried dishes. So I want to get this, dehydrate it, process it, and combine it with a few other spices to make our curry seasoning for the rest of the year. All right, so now that we've talked about our summer crops, now it's time to go into our fall crop that we've just transplanted and have now been starting to flourish. We've got a lot of stuff for the fall garden. We got lettuce, kale. Mrs. Nikki Garden is a fan of arugula, a lot of bitter and peppery stuff. So we got some arugula and the giant red mustard, and they are loving this cool slash now warm weather. They've just been taken off. And then we have these. This is our first year growing these. These are our Chinese amaranth, and they've been taken off here. They're supposed to be a spinach. However, uh, they have a nice color to it. I wish I wouldn't have put it here at the towards the end of the bed. Probably more right here. Kind of put a few right here to give it a nice color contrast. We got some lettuce and some more arugula going on, and some lettuce going back here and stuff. Let's go over to our compost bed over here. All right, besides this loofah area that Mrs. Decker Gardner was talking about, is taking care of this area, is providing a nice shade for our fall crops here. And Mrs. Nikki Garden loved these Mizuna. These were her favorite last year.
And so we decided to do some more here, and the purple variety over there. We had some spinach over here, but we think Sage has been we think we found the area for him to climb out of here, and he's been trampling around our nice spinach and lettuce area. We got some collards, some red Russian kale, and some other cool fall crops that were ready for it to take off. We have a lot of stuff that we wanted to put in this bed that we decided not to do, but right now we're just happy with the fall crop here, and we're going to be ready for when next month comes around, when it starts to get a lot cooler, where we can start harvesting from that. Here is our Hugelkultur bed, where we got some beets and some other cool weather crops, some kohlrabi, some more mizuna, mustard greens. Once again, Mrs. Nikki Garden loves that. The thing that I like about this bed, and we'll show you on the next bed, is this artichoke. We had it in a container previous years, but after talking with Jess for Roots and Refuge when we visit her place, is that she had the same issue where she had her artichoke in a container for about 1 to 2 years, and then when she put it out into her bed, that's when it finally started to producing. Let me show you the we have another one. This one we just transplanted last month, and the next bed we'll show you what we transplanted 2 months ago. All right, so here we have our worm tower bed where we have our artichoke that we transplanted about 2 months ago, and it would look previously like the other one, and as you can see, it has some large leaves growing out here, and hopefully by the end of this fall slash winter months of Texas, we can get some nice heads on here from the artichokes. But this bed, once again, we have a lot of fall crops growing. We got collards, we got lettuce, we got some lady fingers, bok choy, some cabbages, some cauliflower. Now it kind of looks dead and kind of like because we're not expected about this 90-degree weather. We've been getting close to like lower 80s, mid 80s weather here, and right now it was just very hot. So after this, we're going to just wet it all down, kind of cool it down and whatnot to kind of liven it back up. All right, so we hope you like this garden tour. If so, make sure you give us a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss an upload. Now, if you want to see other videos that we did of the garden tour, we'll put a playlist above here so that way you can follow along. Until the next video, let's grow together.